Let's talk about how overall could be super misleading in college football 25. So overall is pretty important in this game. I don't think it's the say all be all by any means. I think certain attributes are a lot more valuable than the whole overall of one team, and then more specifically any player. I think you'd rather have better attributes than a higher overall for a particular player. But overall also impacts players getting drafted, and that helps a lot when it comes to pro potential and ultimately getting your school prestige up. If y'all enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch, we're live streaming over there, but let's get into the video. Certain players in this game do not develop balancedly, and for me personally, that is a super important thing while I'm looking for a starter and looking for a player that I want to actually build around compared to just the highest overall player. I'm never just starting the highest overall. I always want to look at specific attributes and what I want to do with my scheme, what type defense I'm running, and then also just look at a bunch of different things, not just the overall, because it's misleading. Look here, Parker, our starting cornerback. He looks like a dog. 99 speed. First of all, 91 overall with the boost. 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 98 agility, 99 change of direction. You look at his coverage rating, 90 on the man coverage, 74 zone. It's like, damn, man. 99 catching, but he can't cover in zone whatsoever. He's a phenomenal man corner. Maybe one of the best in the leagues. Skill cap's amazing. 5-star elite development guy, and he just won't develop the zone coverage. What it is expensive. It costs 6 for him to upgrade the zone. It only costs 5 for him to upgrade the man. It's not something he's going to upgrade. So you're almost better off getting you a cornerback with some skill caps where they're forced to upgrade the zone coverage. Or look here, Quincy. He's a zone corner, and he is almost at his skill caps. He's at 86 overall, but he is, I would call, our most balanced cornerback. Zone and man coverage are at least solid, and then the press coverage is also solid. As a zone corner, this is great. Speed is not phenomenal, 91. It's enough to get by with the 99 change of direction. It's enough to get by, but he is actually developing more well-rounded, and you look at his skill caps, he is more so maxed out. So he's more so forced to upgrade some of these other stuff, and you see here the man coverage and the zone coverage is in a solid spot along with the press. Even his speed could get a little bit better. He's a good player, and cornerbacks is just one of those positions where you really have to pay attention, not just to the overall, but what their stats look like. Not just look at the speed. What do you want to run? It's like, this is damn near one of the positions. If you're a man guy, if you love to run man defense, you got to go for man corners. If you love to run zone, you got to go to zone corners. If you run both, I would suggest going with the slot corner. That's going to be the most likely to progress on both sides from my experience. It don't always happen. Sometimes they still only progress on one side. The slot corner also usually comes in with a little bit less speed, so another thing to keep in mind. But corner is one of the positions you got to pay attention to. O-line is another super important position. You see here, I left tackle 90 overall, 91 strength. That's pretty good, you know. And you look in here at his specific stats, and it's not bad, but pass blocking power is not good. That's the only thing he lacks at, for real, man, is the power and the pass block power, to be specific. The lead blocking, impact blocking is all still pretty good, but you'll see here some of these guys just don't develop some of these abilities. And you look here, our center, he's a power guy, 86 overall, 94 on the strength. He can't pass block. He can pass block power, but that's about it. He can't run block finesse either. Like, this guy's just super unbalanced. And it's like, damn, he's an 86 overall player. Do you start him? What do you do with him? You really have to make the choice. And I kind of like it. You know, I always complain about these guys not being balanced. But you think about college football in real life, it's a lot of specialty players. It's a lot of players that's good at this, good at that. He's an edge rusher. He's great at rushing the passer, but he's horrible in the run game. It's a linebacker. He's good at stopping the run. He's horrible in the pass game. It's a lot of specialty players in college football, and it makes sense. That's why a lot of these players don't make it to the NFL, because they're not super well-rounded, and you see that here in college football. I just wish players would develop a little bit better to be more balanced. Or maybe even we just had a say. I think that's what I would like. If we had a say for, hey, I want this position group to upgrade more balancedly compared to I want my corners to only upgrade their zone. At least if we had some say to training results, all of that, I think that would be a little bit better. So D-line is another interesting position, and where they just develop kind of strange, I would say. You know, I love the power rushers, I love the speed rushers coming off the edge, but they rarely develop a solid block shedding. Like here we got a guy with 80. You won't see too much higher than that for the power rushers and the speed rusher. Compared to the run stopper, they'll get to like 90. But if you run a 4-3, you probably don't want to run stopping defensive end. But what I've seen, the run stopping defensive ends, they'll already have the good block shedding, but they'll actually develop the power moves, the finesse moves. They'll actually become a good pass rusher throughout their career. Compared to these, guys that start off as good pass rushers, they don't become good run stoppers. So that's one thing I know, that at least for the defensive ends. For the D tackles, I can't say I fully realized that, I fully seen that, but I definitely seen it for the defensive ends. And this is a great example of this. Dennis the Menace, our starting D tackle. We had him at DN, we moved him to D tackle this past year, and we moved him to D tackle because he had crazy block shedding, the highest block shedding on our team, and he started developing a pass rushing ability. 80 finesse moves with 86 power, like for a run stopping D tackle or defensive end, that is good. That is very good, man. Like, you can't ask for much more than that. He's only impact. He is a 5-star, former 5-star, but he has maxed out his block shedding or his run stopping ability. So when that happens, he's forced to upgrade something else. And what he's upgrading is his ability to rush the passer, and it leads him to be a great player. So I actually do like these run stoppers a little bit more, especially if you're moving them over to D tackle in the 4-3. And then running back is another position you got to pay attention to their actual stats. Just don't go by overall, because you'll get some of these athlete quarterbacks, you move them over to running back, and they'll go up to like a 90 overall. I'm sure if we move Andy over to running back, he'd probably be like a 90 overall right now. He just wouldn't. Them athlete quarterbacks, they don't be that good. Like, you actually look at the attributes, and it's like, why is he such a high overall running back? Like, his attributes actually don't look better. You got to pay attention to the running back position, man. I'm going to keep saying it. Here, we're going to start Dom. He is our best running back, going stat for stat. I think he's better than Spence. Like, he's a true freshman. The only thing Spence really has on him is catching, and then really juking and spin move, and then some awareness. But it's like, my guy got a lot more break tackle, trucking, stiff form, and it's like even the agility and acceleration. The power back got more speed. It's like, you really gotta pay attention to these guys' attributes and start whoever you think the best player is after you look at the full spread of attributes. And then receivers is going to be another position that develops quite weird. Like, when it comes to catching and then the catching traffic, is like some guys will develop the elite catching traffic but not the catching, and then vice versa. And then same thing with the route running abilities. Some guys will become great short route runners, can't run deep. It's very interesting and weird how just the whole player progression works in this game. But hopefully next year it will be a little bit more, I guess less random really is what I want, just so we're able to predict it a little bit. Because there's a lot of rumors of how do a guy upgrade, Here we got a physical receiver, so what do he upgrade first? Like the power, some people say the cheapest stat, the cheapest attribute is not the cheapest. I've done an experiment, it's definitely not the cheapest, but I don't know if it's any rhyme or reason. Like, do all of the physical receivers upgrade the same stuff first, and then once that thing's maxed out, they go to the next? I don't know what the rhyme or reason is. You got some guys upgrading their abilities first, and then not even upgrading their overall to later. No idea how it goes. And I also want to make sure I mention physical and then also mental abilities. These could be game changing. In my opinion, the actual ratings and actual attributes mean more than the abilities. So if you get a guy with hammer, or you get a guy with or jammer or blinkish coverage, you get a corner here, and Parker, we covered them a couple times, man, and he got the crazy man coverage. Man coverage is like a 90, but he got 2 solid abilities, and the blinkish coverage got a direct impact on his man coverage, and then the jammer has to do with his press. In my opinion, the abilities, the physical and mental, they just accelerate. They just makes his press and man a little bit better, but it is much more important to have the attribute rather than having the ability. So I do pay attention to abilities, both of them, when I'm considering who I'm starting, but I pay more attention to the attributes. You also want to look at the skill traits or the player traits. If y'all know how to do that, y'all gotta come in here to the stats. I'm gonna show it probably in every video, because I feel like a lot of people don't know. Come in here to the stats and you just scroll down to the traits. This is also important for some positions, like high motor. For the O-line, not that important, but for like quarterback, some wide receivers, this is very important to make sure you come in here and at least consider this when you're going through who should start for your team. But if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, go over to my Twitch, drop a follow. Appreciate y'all for watching. We on to the next one.